Good afternoon. I guess we are running a little late, so although it's extremely interesting to hear the previous speaker speaking, I'll give a different touch to the program today. And it is indeed a great pleasure to be sharing time with a esteemed gathering like yours, and most importantly discussing a subject which gathers momentum and importance as we speak. I remain grateful to Dr. Shah, Mr. K.N. Sen, Mr. N. Mukherjee for giving me this unique opportunity. I have no hesitation in confiding that my feelings at the moment is like that person who is sitting on that ledge. He is exhilarated by the sheer raw beauty of his surroundings, but at the same time must be feeling a little nervous at the thought of safely making his way down to the ground level. I beg to be excused if I falter during the deliberation, which is extremely huge in its scope, but nevertheless critical in its importance. My topic is a little different from the previous speakers because I will deal with small work time injuries, injuries which you sustain every minute, every hour of your working time, in comparison to the catastrophic accidents that we were shown in the two videos previously. I have broken up this topic into three parts basically. One, where we try to understand what are MSDs. MSDs are musculoskeletal disorders, as we are all aware. Number two, what exactly is safety at workplace? And three, discuss some ways in which we can improve our workplace and work style to reduce MSDs and improve safety at workplace. Understanding musculoskeletal disorders. The term musculoskeletal disorder identifies a large group of conditions that result from traumatizing the body in either a minute or a major way over a period of time. It is the buildup of trauma that causes this disorder. The three most important causes of MSDs are bad ergonomics, repetitive strain injuries, which goes by the name of RSI, of which I am sure that all of you are aware, and CSDs, which are the cumulative stress disorders. I will take them up one by one. Now, what is ergonomics? It is derived from two Greek words, nomoi, meaning natural laws, and ergon, meaning work. So basically, ergonomists study human capacities or capabilities in relationship to the work that we are doing. That is the job of an ergonomist. The application of human science to the optimization of people's working environment is another definition of ergonomics. International Labour Organization define ergonomics as the application of human biological sciences in conjunction with the engineering sciences to the worker and his working environment. For what? To obtain maximum satisfaction for the worker, which at the same time enhances productivity for the organization for which the worker is working. So we call the triad of ergonomics, where ergonomics is directly related to the comfort level of the worker, his health status, and these two is directly proportional to the productivity of that particular organization. Now, what is the value of ergonomics? If you have a poor design of jobs, of machines or workplaces, this leads to, as you have just heard, large-scale inefficiencies. We should not only talk about accidents, hazards, you have to talk about inefficiencies which continuously add on, leading to loss of productivity. You set targets for the workers, they have to reach targets, And naturally, within the confinement of time, they tend to take great risk where their workplaces are not ergonomically designed. This leads to increase in accidents, near misses as you heard previously, and of course, the most important, due to these health hazards, it leads to increased absenteeism. As a result of this, neither the organization gets its desired output, nor the worker gets any sort of job satisfaction. Repetitive strain injuries, which is one of the causes of MSDs, as I've shown you in the diagram before, affects the group of workers who generally use excessive and repetitive strain or motion of neck and head. Example, a work pattern of a computer professional. It is usually caused due to repetitive tasks, incorrect postures, and basically bad ergonomics. It may symptomize as numbness, tingling, weaknesses, stiffnesses of the body, stiffnesses of the neck, stiffness of the back, swelling, and even nerve damage. For example, there is a pain in the outer aspect of the wrist which many computer professionals complain of. It goes by the name of dequerment, where the tendons which lead to the movement of the thumb gets entrapped due to repetitive strain injuries. Or a carpal tunnel syndrome, where the nerve gets compressed here due to repetitive work, leading to tingling, weakness of the fingers of the hand. The other important term is the cumulative stress disorder. What is it? It is defined as musculoskeletal disorders that can result from the body's inability to heal itself from long-term effects of repetitive motion or RSI. For example, exposure to vibration or mechanical stresses. As technology and other innovations invade our offices, even a secretary or an accountant can suffer these injuries, often without leaving their desk. During the last decade, this particular occupational illness, identified as cumulative stress disorders, has been occurring in epidemic proportions. This disorder comes in when a particular body part is called into work harder, or that body part has to stretch further, or otherwise function at a greater level than it is prepared for. The body is not prepared for that particular job. The immediate impact may be minute, but when it occurs repeatedly, the constant trauma starts causing damage to our body. Since these injuries always develop very slowly, very silently, and it is extremely difficult to identify these, rather than in comparison to an injury which is attributable to a major accident, a major fall, or something extremely traumatic, people tend to neglect these warnings and they try to work through the pain, unaware they may be causing significant and serious damage to their body. Having completed these three causes of musculoskeletal disorders, I'll just touch upon the safety at work environment, which is what we are discussing here. This refers to the working environment at a company or organization and encompasses all factors that impact the safety, health, and well-being of the employees. Many words have been spoken and written about workplace safety in India. But has it really percolated to the lowest levels? And have our workplaces become really safe zones? Let us have a look. We'll have to first decide, are we really a safety conscious nation? He is working, he is carrying his workload, but is he following safety rules? They are digging. These are done in the streets of India. Any safety rules are being followed? Are they traveling daily? No safety rules are being followed. Safety at workplace, my dear delegates, is only an extension of the general safety standard which is prevailing in the nation. In a country where the value of life is so minuscule, we all, you, me, everybody of us, have to have a very long and lonely ride ahead to convince our workforce and our management to enforce a minimum safety standards at our workplace. With the background of this nature of safety issues that we have in our country, let us divide the workforce in our country into three major groups. The white collared, you are all white collared, I am white collared. We are working, we have a more or less sedentary nature of work. We are working in air-conditioned ambience. Our work is predominantly mental, visual, or hand-based. The blue collar, they include the manual laborers, the main labor thrust of our workforce. Mobility is their mantra, and perhaps the target subjects to develop serious MSPs. And lastly, India has a large unorganized workforce whose job patterns may be widely variable and whose database is very difficult to accumulate. And so perhaps this unorganized sector is the most underprivileged. Musculoskeletal disorders among us, the white collar. We all develop neck pains, low back pains, wrist pains, elbow pains, most commonly goes by the name of tennis elbow, pains in the small joints of the hand, dizziness, headaches, stiffness of the spines. Never deny it, we are all suffering from it, day in and day out. What are the reasons? We are not doing any heavy job. We have a very comfortable working environment. But are they really comfortable? Are they really ergonomic? Let us see. We work in an air-conditioned environment, but our workstation is non-ergonomic. It leads to poor posture for long hours. We are not aware of that. Our work is monotonous and repetitive. How many of us exercise daily? We are all sedentary by nature. We all have stressful deadlines to meet each and every day. Psychosocial maladjustments can be there. And all this, when you are not happy, when you are suffering, leads to poor interpersonal relations. And they aggravate the matter more. Whenever I have talked about this, the first thing that people ask me, why, doctor, you are so continuously talking about air conditioning? We must know what is comfortable for us as far as working is concerned. It has been found that ergonomically healthy temperature should be between 21 and 23 degrees centigrade. If you have a lower temperature than that, this results in higher muscular contractions and making the body vulnerable to injuries. And if you are working in a temperature higher than this, as it happens in majority of our railway workshops, it decreases work efficiency. Often we have the air condition working right behind our back. For long hours we are sitting like that. This direct blast of cold air to the neck and back tightens up the back muscles and neck muscles, leading to stiffness, and we become prone to repetitive strain injuries. Posture. What is a posture? It is a static state. All of us are having particular postures now. But this posture is not only physical, it includes a strong mental gradient, particularly the mood which you are in. All of you are extremely bored, I can see that. The posture suggests that. And the emotional level that you are working in. If you are a sad person, you are doing a job, your posture will be different. If you are feeling pumped up, you are happy, you are cheerful, your posture will be different. If you are angry, your posture will be completely different. So it has a very strong, emotional, mental gradient. What sort of posture you assume. But what is the correct posture? A posture is correct when the body is in complete balance and our muscles and joints are working with least effort. You are putting minimum stress to your muscles and joints. And what is an incorrect posture? When you are using your joints differently than they are designed to work in, and they are completely out of alignment. The effects of using joints out of alignment ranges initially from discomfort and later can start manifesting as pain. And then eventually, after long years, you develop a full-blown musculoskeletal disorder. Henry McFarland is a very famous orthopedic ergonomist. Once defined good posture as when the spine is in complete neutral position, when the normal curves of the spine have the least amount of stresses, and the support is evenly shared by the bones, the ligaments, the discs of the spine. However, most people do not maintain this good posture when sitting. This increases the pressure on the lower back and can cause or worsen back or neck pain. So what is sitting correctly and preventing ultimate musculoskeletal disorders? First, you must have a straight back chair, not one of those recliners. You should have your back and shoulders resting against the backrest of the chair. Your elbows and lower arms should rest lightly on the armrest. Hips should be slightly higher than the knees. The knees should be bent comfortably. And there should be at least 2 to 4 inch gap between the end or margin of the chair and your knee joint. Position the feet firmly on the ground. And thighs should be as far as possible parallel to the floor. One has to make sure that you have a good lumbar support. Our lumbar spine, which is the lower back, has a curvature like this, which is called the hollow of the back. You have to ensure that your lumbar has good support. The monitor in which you are working in should be at the nose level. The keyboard should be at a height where the wrists are not bent acutely. Incidentally, we can allow only 15-degree wrist movement in any direction for any length of time. You work beyond that, you are prone to develop wrist problems. Keep your shoulders relaxed and not shut like this, full of tension. Avoid pressure points. Example, pressure on the back of the knees can impede your circulation when you are doing a sitting job for long hours. Or avoid leaning forward, almost eating up your monitor. These are things which one has to avoid. One is the correct, the other is the incorrect. This lady is using all the muscles of her back continuously to keep her back straight. She is not using the back of the chair at all. And she is an ideal candidate if she continues to maintain a posture like this to develop MS. Little things that one can do. These are available freely in the market. An inflatable lumbar support. It can be used with any chair. One has to be aware about it. Repetitive strain injuries in the white collar. Activities which involve continuous arm or hand movements, example console operators, BPO jobs, etc., affect the neck, shoulder musculature and generate loads on the neck and shoulder area. Repeated forward movement of the neck for more than 20 degrees. This is 0 degree of neck position. This is about, that's all. If you have a neck position more than this, more than 20 degrees, it causes cumulative stress in the neck musculature, leading to neck pain, headaches, dizziness, etc. We have all seen this before. He says, I work so hard all the day, why it should happen to me? But obviously he is not working properly. Now let us come to the musculoskeletal disorders that affect the majority of the working force in our country. Their MSDs are completely different from ours. They have acute upper and lower limb traumas. Commonest being finger injuries, amputation of the fingers, toe injuries, heavy weights falling on the toes. They often have acute back injuries due to a fall, acute neck injuries. They also have chronic back injuries due to repetitive back strain, chronic neck pain, elbow and wrist strain. This is just an overall picture of the disorders that they can have. The causes of MSDs in the blue collar is completely different from the white collar. Their job is repetitive, forceful, manual exertion. And they have a poor workstation leading to a poor posture. They have unacceptable levels of physical loading and non-availability of technical equipments and aids. They are uninformed. They are untutored. They have no knowledge of basic ergonomics. They are working in unacceptable climatic conditions. Some of the furnace workshops in railways, you cannot imagine the amount of heat that is inside that workshop. And our workers are working, as our general manager today morning said, they are working more than 8-hour shift every day. Noise, vibration, and added to it, of course, is job tension, family tension, poor payment, rigid deadlines, psychosocial and interpersonal maladjustments. This is an example of a person who will ultimately develop MSD. He is lifting a heavy weight and twisting at the waist at the same time while lifting. This is bad ergonomics. You cannot do that. This person is reaching and lifting overhead. If you continue to do this for any length